start the countdown. 3, 2, 1. It's the next generation of sports talk radio. It's the Mile High Horseman Show, and it starts right now, only on SoundCloud. Now to your hosts, Corwin and Turbodaze. What is up, Mile High Horseman? This is your lead horseman, Corwin, and welcome to the premiere episode of the Mile High Horseman Show. I got my co-host with me,
Turbodaze, Jared here. Wanted to talk about my experience as a Bronco fan, how I became a Bronco fan. For the longest time, I used to watch the Minnesota Vikings. They're on Fox. And then I would decide to change it to the CBS channel where they play AFC games. And then the Broncos were playing, and I enjoyed their play style and, the players, and started to become a fan of them back in 1995, around that time. So, and my favorite experiences as a Bronco fan have been going to the games, seeing those 2 Super Bowl wins against the Green Bay Packers and Atlanta Falcons, and the times going to the football games in Kansas City and in Denver for the Monday Night Football game with the Raiders, where we got to tailgate and get to meet everybody in person, all those Bronco fans out there. So, and my favorite Bronco player is Ed McCaffrey, because he used to take hard hits and be able to catch the ball and get up afterwards. So, what's yours, Adrian? What are your experiences?
Well, let me just start out by saying, again, my name is Adrian. I've been a Bronco fan for 17 years now, ever since I was 2 years old. Just remembering, when I was 2 years old, just being sat in front of the TV. My very first game I ever watched, it was when I was 2 years old. My grandpa sat me in front of the TV and says, "Hey, you want to watch the game?" It's like, "Yep." I don't know what this is, but I'll watch it. And it's like he taught me everything about the team. He taught me all the players. He taught me everything about it, and I fell in love with the team. And since then, I've been a Bronco fan ever since. And just some of my favorite moments as a Bronco fan, just like my very first game ever was in 2000 against the Raiders on Monday Night Football at the old Mile High Stadium. Just a great experience in the South Stands. It was very loud. It was a great experience. But I got to say that, the 2 Super Bowls is obviously my favorite. But last year when we went to the game, just like Jared said, going to the tailgate, meet some good people. The guy who hosted our tailgate party, he was awesome. He put a lot into it. A lot of good food, a lot of good stuff going on over there. We watched a good game. It was the Monday Night Football against the Raiders at Mile High Stadium. Same damn thing as it was with me when I was 6 years old. And it was just, that just beats the hell out of that, though. I mean, it was just so fun. I met some really good people, and that's not my favorite moment. That's not my favorite experience as a Bronco fan. That's pretty close. Well, tonight we're going to be talking about, everybody's favorite subject. We're going to be talking about the Super Bowl loss against the Seahawks. We're going to be talking about the Mile High Horseman, how he got started. We're going to be talking about the schedule. We're going to be talking about free agency. And we'll talk about a couple other things as we go along. But that's pretty much our what's on the agenda tonight.
All right. And how did we become the Mile High Horseman?
Let's go back about 19 months ago. We were all video makers on YouTube, us Bronco fans. We belonged to a group called the Crazy Orange Crush Killers for the longest time, from like 2009, 2010, all the way up till 2012. And I just wanted something new. I wanted something different. I wanted something to really spice things up. So I said, let's try something that really sound good. And I said, let's try Mile High Horseman. I think that would sound good. I think that people would like it. So, it was only supposed to be on YouTube. It was never supposed to be what it is now. But, fast forward, about a month after that, we had our first 100 members. And then we just got 100 more. We had 200 members. And then 200 turned into 1,000. And 1,000 turned into 2,000. And then 2,000 turned into 5,000, which we have now. I never expected to get that many members. I think I can speak for Jared here, saying it has been the greatest 19 months of my life. It's been fun. It's been awesome being a co-leader with this guy. We're both really passionate about our Facebook group, and now doing this show, we're really excited around here, and it's something to do for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been just a blessing. Anything after 2,000 members has been just a plus and a positive. I mean, so it's been great. I haven't. It's been just a great time to celebrate. Being Bronco fans together, and that's about it. Like, it's just gotten bigger and better, and we just hope to expand it to bigger and better things. And this show, I hope, is the same. What we can do for to expand the Mile High Horsemen. So, but we're gonna get to the Super Bowl loss. I know we're changing big topics here, yeah. But what was your take on the Super Bowl loss, Adrian?
Oh, well, all I can say is, guys, getting into this Super Bowl loss, just like everybody else, I was completely stunned at what I saw that Super Bowl. I mean, going into this game, I knew that we were probably not going to win this football game, but, I kept faith, because I know that Seattle's got a really good defense. I know Richard Sherman. I know they got good weapons on offense, but, I expected it to be a lot more closer than it was. But, just after that first safety at the beginning, I knew right then and there that this was going to be a long game, but I still kept hope. But, after they ran it all the way back at the beginning of the second half, I was like, that's it. This is over. And there was three emotions that went through my mind in that game. One was disbelief. It's like, what the fuck's going on? Why would you get a safety at the beginning? Disbelief. That was one. Anger. Because what the fuck is going on with this team? What the hell is going on? This is not the same team we saw. This is not the same team we saw breaking records. And then, last but not least, when it just started getting out of control,
yeah,
it was comical. It was so fucking bad. It was funny to me. I was like, it was actually making me laugh when Jermaine Kearse made a touchdown. I know that was during a certain part of the game, but I remember I was just laughing. It was hilarious to me. And then I pulled out the fucking tape from the VCR and I busted it on camera, and I got pissed. And then there was another anger part of there, but it was also comical at the same time. And I was laughing about it, but I was also pissed. So, yeah. That pretty much sums up what I thought of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was pretty much the same way. It's kind of funny how that works out like that. Some people might miss out on the third one, laughing about it, but I was laughing about it myself. It was an abomination of a game. It was pretty much a piss poor performance, and it was probably, it had to be the worst effort, at least for that year, from the Broncos. I know they were getting their butts whipped against the Colts, but that was the worst performance I've seen in years. I don't even know when's the last time we got our butts handed to us like that. Especially on the biggest and brightest stage, that we're given 2 weeks to prepare for. I also, one kind of thing that I missed was the coin flip. The coin flip was a big part because I expected the Broncos to get the ball in the second half, and that didn't happen due to Joe Namath, and he was messing up with the coin toss, and then they had to redo it again. I remember that, and I thought that was really suspicious, but and that's not an excuse, but usually, like, with high emotions with the Super Bowl, the first drive is like what sets it all off, how the game's going to be played and all that. And it just seemed like, and from my experience from seeing games, usually that's a nerve-wracking experience, and usually that leads to like fumbles or turnovers and that sort of thing. And that's pretty much what happened, was a safety. So, and then like you said, it was just after halftime, even at halftime, I thought the game was over. But then with the run back from that stupid punt that like hit the turf and then bounced up, and then he was able to grab it, I thought that was such. I was like, that's it. That's the nail in the coffin. And then I started drinking. I started celebrating with the Bronco fans, and I was actually the best part was we scored a touchdown in the game to make it to make it a little closer, or like it wasn't a shutout at least, and which is pretty sad because it actually was really close to becoming a shutout game for us. So yeah, it was. We'll be able to remember this game for the rest of our lives, um, and unfortunately, this is my. For both of us, this was our first Super Bowl loss. So, and with this and the Ravens game, it proves that I'm still a Broncos fan, even with those two horrible losses under our belts now. So, back to you.
Yeah, just final thoughts of that.
Yeah.
Just like you said, man, and you couldn't have summed it up any better. I've never experienced a Super Bowl loss. I know my grandpa has. He was a Bronco fan for a long, long time, and he experienced some of those old Super Bowl losses from the 80s against the Giants, the Redskins, the Cowboys. He experienced some of those, and he remained a Bronco fan all his life until his last breath. And that's why I respect the hell out of him, and that's why he was one of the greatest Bronco fans I ever knew, probably one of the greatest Bronco fans to ever live. And now, just thinking back and looking back at this Super Bowl, to think that we can get our asses kicked that badly, and I'm still a Bronco fan, that'll never ever change. And that's just the way it is. And, some people can make excuses, say, oh, the Broncos were paid to throw that game. No, that's bullshit. They didn't play their best game. Certainly didn't play their best game in the biggest game of their lives. So there's no excuses. They lost badly, and they deserved to lose.
Yeah. Champ Bailey, he was. I thought he was going to prepare better than that. It was a whole team effort. Champ Bailey was waiting for one Super Bowl to prove himself, and it just was a dud, and it was fizzled out. So,
and there's another reason why, we'll get to that in a little bit, but there's also a couple reasons why a couple things happened this offseason. But final overall ratings of that Super Bowl. I know what you're going to give it, but let's get it.
It's a straight F. There's no way to sugarcoat it. I mean, it pretty much reminded me of the worst season that I've ever experienced, which was like 2011, where we went 4-12 with Josh McDaniels. It pretty much felt like that again. But yeah, that's my final rating.
My final rating, I'm going to give it an F minus, 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 minus. Just like you said, dude. It just reminded me so much of the McDaniels days. Just complete garbage effort. They deserve to lose badly in front of worldwide television, and that's all there is to say about that.
We did have injuries. I'm not going to say that's an excuse. We did not have Derek Wolfe. We did not have Kevin Bickerson and some others. But that does not have any. I mean, it's still 2 weeks of preparation. You are paid to play the game as good as you possibly can, and you guys looked like jokers out there. So now we get to rebuild for the next season, which we're going to talk about, the 2014 to 2015 schedule. What's your take on preseason? We're going to start with preseason.
Honestly, dude, in preseason, people like to say that it's too long. Say that maybe they should just shorten it by 2 weeks. The way I see it, 4 weeks is just fine. I don't care. It really gives you a chance to see your depth in your team. You get to see the future of your team, like Brock Osweiler, some of the guys we picked up in the free agency. And it really gives you a chance to see these new players and, like you said, the future of your team. So, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think 4 weeks is just fine. I mean, it gets too short. It's not going to work out. I don't think. You don't want to extend it, but I mean, there's always some sort of starting quarterback that always gets injured in preseason. Then it becomes a supposed debate topic on ESPN. But I personally have no problem with 4 weeks being preseason. You got to get them into tip-top shape, and it works really well like that. So I have no problem with preseason whatsoever. And also, what's up with these people that think like we're playing the Seahawks in the preseason? So I think some of them think like we can get any revenge back from our Super Bowl loss in preseason. What do you think?
Let me say this right now. Whoever honestly thinks that getting quote-unquote revenge against the Seahawks in the preseason is going to do anything at all, is going to redeem ourselves at the slightest, you're fucking stupid. All right? It's fucking preseason. Preseason doesn't mean a goddamn thing. But it does mean something to beat them in the regular season, which we'll talk about a little later on in the show. But yeah, as for right now, I really don't give a shit about that game we have against them in the preseason. That's all I got to say about that.
All right, so we're going to go week by week here, and we're going to get each other's opinion on about the matchups. For week 1, we're playing Indianapolis, the Colts. What's your take on that?
Oh, I like this game. This is a big game. Sunday Night Football, Mile High Stadium, first game of the year. Andrew Luck and the Colts. Last year when Peyton Manning went back to Indianapolis, I knew them showing the video tribute and them kissing his ass and saying, "Thank you, Peyton," and everything like that. I knew that was going to get to him, and I knew that we were going to lose that game. I just had a bad feeling about it, and then we ended up getting whooped. So, yeah, and then, the Broncos were struggling, weeks prior to that, too. So, and, there was also a lot more contributing factors to it, but Peyton Manning got hot under the collar, and he wasn't prepared for that game. He wasn't prepared to go against his old team in Lucas Oil Stadium. Now you fast forward a year at Mile High in our house. He's gotten used to it now. He knows he plays for the Broncos. So, again, Indianapolis will always have a special place in Peyton's heart. There's no doubt about that. But I think he realizes who his team is now, and I think he's going to be a lot more prepared for this game. So it should be a good game. But again, Andrew Luck and the Colts are a dangerous team. It should be a very good game. But we'll have to see what happens. This one's going to probably be a toss-up, but I'll say the Broncos probably will win this game.
Yeah, with the Colts, I'm very impressed with Andrew Luck. He's exactly who the Colts should have picked. The first pick in the draft. It was kind of a bonehead. It's kind of common sense. They would, someone would pick him number 1 overall. This game should be really, really good. Should be a nice opener to the season. I think the Broncos could win. Should win this one. But you never know with the Colts and Andrew Luck, because he makes things happen. He'll do a QB sneak into the end zone if it's possible, and they got weapons. Reggie Wayne should be back this season too, and he had an injury last year, so I think the Colts are wanting to be 1-0, and we're going to want to be 1-0. So it's going to be who wants it more, and I'm hoping the Broncos want it more, especially after that Super Bowl loss. And so week 2, we're going to be playing in Denver against Kansas City Chiefs. What's your take on this matchup?
Well, I'm going to tell you what. The Chiefs, they've been getting better. There's no doubt about that. Alex Smith, I'm still not sold on him yet. I mean, he was okay with the 49ers, and he had a pretty okay year last year with the Chiefs. The Chiefs had a pretty decent year last year. But the thing is that when we went against them last year, their fans were talking so much shit. They came out of the woodwork. They were going to win the AFC West. They were going to do this and that. And we end up sweeping them. So I think we kind of exposed them. We kind of exposed them with Andy Reid as their coach. I mean, they've gotten – let me say this about Andy Reid. He's a pretty decent coach, but obviously he couldn't make it in fucking Philadelphia. So that's probably the reason why they fired him. But he did turn the team around in Kansas City a little bit. But I still don't – I'm not so sure that they're still a legit threat in this AFC West division. Maybe they might be this year, but I don't know. I do expect the Broncos to win this game, especially at home at Mile High. What are your take?
I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs, they, like you said, Andy Reid's a really good coach. Alex Smith's a little bit above average. I think he's way better than Brady Quinn was a year or so ago, Brady Quinn was absolutely dog crap, but Jamal Charles is like their MVP pretty much. He should have won MVP against Adrian Peterson. If it wasn't for not Adrian Peterson, Peyton Manning, of course, but I mean he was like a one-man show. He I think he got like 4 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns in one game, if I'm not mistaken. He can catch the ball, he can run it really well. I mean, he's a dual threat, and I I mean, a lot of players need to try to be like him, and they have a problem with catching the ball. There's a lot of drop balls besides Jamal Charles from their wide receivers, and I think they need to step it up a big time if they think they can do anything against the Broncos. So they got to get a better wide receiving core, and I thought Tony Gonzalez, they were saying he was wanting to come to Kansas City, which was it was a good idea, but he didn't do it. He stayed with the Falcons. But I think they should have picked him up. But they need a better wide receiving core to even compete with the Broncos. And actually, last year's playoff game, they were up like 28-0, or they were up by 28 points or something, and then they ended up having the Colts ended up coming back and beating them to advance to the next round. So that pretty much summed up their team in general, that they revolve around Jamal Charles, because he was injured in that game, because as soon as he got injured, their team fell apart. So, but anyways, I think the Broncos will be able to beat the Chiefs. And so and then the third week is against the Seahawks, in Seattle. What's your take on this, Adrian?
This right here is probably the most anticipated game for obvious reasons for all Bronco fans everywhere. Now, Seattle still has a damn good defense. Russell Wilson is still a damn good quarterback. Richard Sherman is still a damn good cornerback. They got a damn good defense. They got some threats on offense. So this is definitely not going to be an easy game. This is definitely not, especially over there in Seattle, where one of the toughest places to play. So this is definitely not going to be an easy game, but it's damn well going to be interesting, because obviously the two Super Bowl opponents going back-to-back again. That's going to be interesting. But I do expect the Broncos probably. This is a toss-up, but I will say that the Broncos could pull this off, but they're going to have to play their best game. And we can't see another performance like we did in the Super Bowl. What's your take on it?
Yeah, the Seahawks. It would be great to win in their home, because that's about as close as we're going to get if we ever meet again in the Super Bowl, another Super Bowl. If we could get a win out of this, I'd be happy for a good start of the season if it was possible. They got Percy Harvin. They kept a lot of their players. Some win, of course, just like every Super Bowl team. They always lose some players, but they were able to keep a good amount of their players. So, Russell Wilson, he's a good guy, man. He knows how to play the QB position for sure, and he likes to go out of the pocket and likes to throw it while he's outside the pocket, and he knows he can burn anybody with that. So, and he has a good the wide receiving core is decent enough to burn the corners. So it's going to be a tough game. If they can play their best, they could squeak this one out. But if they play anything average or like our piss poor performance in the Super Bowl, they will lose. And the week after that, we have the bye week. What's your take on the bye week being this early?
I hate it. I don't like bye weeks being this fucking early, especially 4 weeks into the season. I don't like it. I liked it how it was last year when it was week 8. The way I see it, the bye week should always be right in the middle of the season, because you got the first half of the season, the first 8 games. That's great. Then week 9, you have the bye week. Then the rest of the games. That's the way I think it should be. But, it is what it is. It's the earliest I've ever seen it. Thinking back about maybe 10 years ago, maybe it was this early. But I haven't seen it this early in a long, long time. But I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, my take on it is, it's way too early. Like about as early as you can pretty much have it. You can't tell me that, they're needing this bye week in week 4 to get rested up and to get through the season. No, it's not like that. It's at a horrible time. It's at a very unopportune time. It should be, like he said, at least in the half of the season or later. I don't care if it's week 13 or 15 or whatever. That's fine, but this early is not a good sign. I don't like that at all. So we'll see how that turns out and how that pans out. So week 6, we're taking on the New York Jets in New York at MetLife Stadium. What's your opinion on the game?
Well, this is another anticipated game because, as we all know, Eric Decker left us for the Jets because he wanted money. And all I'm going to say is I wonder how many drop balls Eric Decker's going to have in this game. That's all I'm going to say about that. But I don't really expect the Broncos to lose this game. I mean, even with their addition of Eric Decker to their wide receiver core, I don't see them beating the Broncos in this game.
Yep, the Jets, they've been a joke for quite a few years now. I don't know if that began. It was probably before even Tim Tebow when he showed up to the Jets. But it's this game. I think the Broncos should be able to win this game against the Jets. Shouldn't be a problem, even with the addition of Eric Decker. I actually like Geno Smith a little bit. I was kind of rooting for him last year because, I don't know, I kind of like how he plays the game a little bit. I think he got lucky a few times, and let's just hope he doesn't get lucky against us this week, against the Broncos. But I don't think he's going to do too well. There are signs that he is not that good of a quarterback too. So let's just hope we get a win out of this. So we're going to be taking on the 49ers in Week 7. Adrian, what's your opinion on this matchup?
Well, it all depends. It all really depends on whether Colin Kaepernick is playing or not. Because if Colin Kaepernick's playing, then this is going to be an interesting game because he's a pretty good quarterback. But since he doesn't like to keep his dick in his pants and he likes to rape women, that should really all depend on whether he's going to be playing or not. Because if he's playing, then this should be an interesting game because he's a pretty good quarterback. He's very mobile. He likes to jump out of the pocket a lot. He's remember like a couple of years ago, he would never stay in the pocket. He'd always be running. He was like another Tim Tebow. He'd like always be a scrambling quarterback, which is never going to be successful for you. I mean, but still, he can still throw the ball pretty good. And Vernon Davis is a pretty good tight end. So, yeah, I mean, they got some pretty good weapons on offense, and obviously their defense is pretty good. Sunday night football game. I'll look forward to this game, but I expect the Broncos to win this game, though.
I think it's a really good matchup. I could see the 49ers beating the Broncos if they play their cards right. I think it's the best matchup in Denver this year, besides the Colts game. They got Vernon Davis. They got some wide receivers that can take us down quite well. Frank Gore at running back. So I think it's going to be a good matchup, and I think anyone can win this game this week. So, and then next is the New England Patriots, Week 9 at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough. What's your take on it, Adrian?
Another highly anticipated game. As you all know, what happened last year again. Up 24-0 by halftime, thinking we had it won. We're all overconfident. We're celebrating and this and that. And then the Patriots come back and beat us late. And it was an embarrassment. And, we have so much bad luck at Gillette Stadium. We can never beat the Patriots at Gillette Stadium. It would be nice. Nothing sweeter to finally, for the first time in how long now, to beat the Patriots at Gillette Stadium would be beautiful. But, as always, Tom Brady, I don't care what you think of him. You can say he's a crybaby, you can say he's whatever, but he's still a damn good quarterback, and it is definitely not going to be an easy game. And what's your take on it, man?
Yeah, like last year, everything was going perfectly. Let's just say that the wind played a huge factor. It was a huge factor. We had to run the ball a lot. There was a lot of turnovers that game. Patriots gave up the ball quite a bit at times the first half, but then we ended up giving about the same amount of turnovers the second half, and they were able to eke out a win against us. Foxborough, it's a curse. I absolutely hate that place. It never works well for the Broncos being there. That's why it was a big deal for the Broncos to play their AFC Championship game in Denver. This game, I think it's going to be one hell of a game, just like the Seahawks game. We're going to need a lot of effort from everybody to win this game. It's not going to come easy. And, they're going to have Gronkowski back, which I'm surprised he's going to be coming back. He's probably on his third big injury so far in his career. He's taken some major punishment which I don't mind. I absolutely, I don't mind Gronkowski as a person, but he's with the Patriots, so he's the enemy. Sorry, but I think the Broncos, they can win this game if they do it right. But I don't even know how long it's been since we've won there. It's been a decade, or I don't even know.
It's been quite a while, man. And I'm gonna say, I hate to say this, but I think that unfortunately, I think the curse of Foxborough will continue. I hope not. I just got a bad feeling about going over there, and I think this is a game that the Broncos could possibly lose. But I'm always hoping that they will win. But I just have a bad feeling.
I think the curse is alive and will kick on for a very long time. I never know. The only thing to break the curse is have a playoff game in New England, and then we win in New England. I think that would break the curse.
Yeah.
But then that's the truth. So, but week 10 we have the Oakland Raiders in Oakland. What's your take on this matchup against the Raiders?
Well, let me say this. Everybody's been talking about the Raiders this offseason, and because they've had so much money to spend in their salary cap. What exactly have they done this offseason in the free agency? Absolutely nothing. This is the thing with the Raiders. Every single fucking year, they have horrible fucking ownership. They can never sign anybody good. They can never draft anybody good. They can't trade for anybody any good. Their ownership is not built on being successful. That is why they haven't been to the playoffs in over a decade. That is why they haven't won a Super Bowl in over 20 years. So, and I think that trend is going to continue this year. I think, once again, they're going to be at the bottom of the AFC West. We just might, I'm not guaranteeing it, but we just might sweep them, but we will definitely win this game.
And for my take on it is the Raiders are going to continue to sink, just like he said. I don't see them going anytime soon up the AFC West rankings in the division. You'd be lucky to hear that. You'd be lucky to see them go like to third place in the division, going over like the San Diego Chargers or Kansas City, if not. But Oakland, you guys are going to stay sucking for a very long time, it seems like. It'll just keep going and going and going. You guys got rid of Terrell Pryor, who I thought was about the only thing that was doing, that was well on your guys' team, but you got rid of him for Matt Schaub now, who to me he's okay. He's not going to, I don't know, he had a horrible year, and now he's with you guys, which I guess horrible players go to a horrible team, so it fits well. So if they do badly, they just send them to Oakland or maybe even Cleveland, which I want to recommend you guys go to Draft Day, the movie with Kevin Costner. It's probably the highlight of the Cleveland Browns' fan base, going to that movie. And anyways, back to the game. I think it's just gonna be a slaughter, easy sweep. I think of the Oakland Raiders this year. I don't see them winning one game against us. So that's my take on that one. Broncos go to Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium in Week 13. Adrian, what's your take and opinion on this game?
Well, like I've said before, guys, and I'll say it again. It's not necessarily the team I'm afraid of. It's that fucking stadium. I do not like the Broncos going to Arrowhead Stadium. That's a very, very, very tough place to play. Matter of fact, Arrowhead Stadium set the record for the loudest stadium in the world last year. Like it was 137 decibels or some shit. That's insanely fucking loud. So that is definitely going to be a factor. And then, like I said, the Chiefs have been getting a little bit better over the past couple of years. And then, with that 12th man on their side, that's definitely going to add to it. So, this. I still expect the Broncos to win this game, but it's definitely going to be a lot tougher. But what's your take on it?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I was in Arrowhead Stadium a few years ago. It's louder than crap. Seattle and Kansas City were going against each other for like most who's the loudest in the in the NFL or whatever. Arrowhead is louder than crap. I've been there. I was really impressed with how loud that place gets. I really am impressed with their stadium myself. If there's a place that the Kansas City Chiefs can win, it's at Arrowhead Stadium against the Broncos possibly. So the Broncos are going to have to play their best game at Arrowhead because it's not no easy game. It's not something it's not going to come easy. So any given Sunday the Chiefs can win at their stadium. So that's my take on that. The next week is against the Buffalo Bills in Week 14 in Denver. Adrian, your opinion on this game against the Bills?
The Broncos win. End of the story. That's my take. You?
Okay. Broncos blow out the Buffalo Bills. They're not even worth my breath. EJ Manuel is not good at all, like underneath Geno Smith. Okay, next game, Week 15 against San Diego in San Diego. What's your take, Adrian?
Well, I mean, I'm not too sure about this one. I mean, this is one we could possibly lose. But, again, like I said, though, I mean, without LT, without the team they had in 2009, 2010, I just don't see him beating us. But, it could be a trap game. That's that. Now, this is legit. I'm talking legit, guys. I'm not bullshitting this time. This could be the trap game that we have for the 2014 season. But we'll have to see what happens. But I do expect the Broncos to win this game, but anything could happen. But what's your take on it?
The Chargers, they seem to they seem to win enough games to where their fans are okay with it. I think the Chargers could win this game in San Diego just to please the fans. Give the fans a little smile, and get them all like pumped up, like they think they're gonna go far in the playoffs.
And maybe they might sell out this game. Maybe.
Yeah. Actually, you were saying about their they have a horrible attendance rating. I know when I was looking at like a football game last year, I didn't see much of an attendance and an audience in Qualcomm Stadium. I was not impressed with how many people were in that stadium. There wasn't many when they were actually like losing. But when they showed up, when they actually started, like they got into the playoffs with a miracle. And they showed up then, but when they were losing, there was not many to be seen in their stadium. But yep, that's my take on it. Denver could pull it off. They should pull it off, but who knows? The San Diego Chargers might be able to win against them. Adrian, your opinion?
Like I said, maybe they honestly, this is mostly, like I said, could be a trap game, but I think this game is mostly whether they're going to sell this game out or not, and whether they're going to have a local blackout in San Diego or not. That's what I'm really curious about. But yeah, I do expect the Broncos to win this game, though. But we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, I do expect the Broncos to win.
Week 16 is against Cincinnati Bengals at Paul Brown Stadium. What's your take on this game, Adrian?
I mean, this one's interesting because the Bengals have been getting better over the past few years. I mean, they really have. I mean, they've been starting to become a legit threat in the AFC North. And they seem to win a lot in the jungle. So I do expect this to be a somewhat competitive game, but I'm going to steal a line from Christina here. Andy Dalton can overthrow a government. And that is the God's honest truth. I mean, A.J. Green's a good receiver, but the thing is that if Andy Dalton's going to be overthrowing him, what's the whole point of him even being there? So, I mean, honestly, this is going to be an interesting game, but I really don't expect the Broncos to lose this game. But again, like I said, it's kind of an iffy one, but I do expect the Broncos to win this game. But what do you think about it?
I think it being in Cincinnati, I think it's possible that they could win. But like you said, it's Andy Dalton. Are we going to get a good Andy Dalton this week? Or, hopefully we get a crappy, piss poor Andy Dalton, the one that has, maybe 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions per game. Andy Dalton. Hopefully we have that one. They should have beat the San Diego Chargers. I thought the Cincinnati Bengals were good enough to beat the San Diego Chargers, but it didn't happen. And then the San Diego Chargers had to come to Denver, which I'm glad I guess it worked out for us. We ended up beating them, but I was actually disappointed in the Cincinnati Bengals for not making it to the next round to play the Denver Broncos, because I was looking forward to that matchup. But AJ Green, yep, he's a really good weapon. So Andy Dalton, it just depends what week he, how well he's playing. So week 17 to end the season is with Oakland and Denver. Adrian, what's your take on this last matchup of the season?
It all depends on what the record is for the Broncos. It really does. If we're doing great, if we've already clinched the division, if we've already clinched our first round bye and everything like that, then all the starters are going to be resting, and I would expect the Broncos to lose this game, because it's pretty much going to be like an exhibition game. But if it's competitive, like I said, all depends on what's going on with the standings. It all depends on what's going on with the wild cards and all that shit, and for home field advantage and all that. It all really depends on if everything's locked, then we don't have to worry about it. It doesn't even matter to me. The Broncos could win or lose this game. I wouldn't really care, but I'd like to see them win at home, obviously, but it wouldn't really matter to me that much. But if it's competitive, then expect to see a really good game. But I wouldn't expect the Broncos to lose this game either way, but, we'll have to see what happens. What's your take?
Maybe it's going to be like last season, where Brock Osweiler comes in and during the second half because it's such a blowout, and hopefully that's the case. But yeah, it could turn out to be like that. Hopefully, maybe we're doing so well to where Brock Osweiler, can come in or start that game maybe, and see if he can actually take on the Oakland Raiders. Last time he didn't get many points or whatever, but even after Peyton Manning got like 30 in the half or whatever, first half, and the game was pretty much over. But the Denver Broncos, they should be, of course they should win this game. It would be a big blow to the fan base if we ended up losing against the Oakland Raiders at our home turf, because that reminds me of the 54 to 14 game that was years and years ago, because that was horrible, and I don't ever want to. I still remember it to this day, and maybe that was the worst performance in the Super Bowl that we've had since that game against the Raiders, because that was one of the worst games I've ever seen, right there with the Super Bowl. So hopefully the Raiders choke, and we can send them off on a horrible note to end their season. So, and that is all the whole schedule of the Broncos for this season.
And that sound means it is time for the question of the day. So this is Jared's specialty, so take it away, Jared.
All right, I'll be giving away this Champ Bailey sketch from Don Medina. Really nice sketch. Winner will receive that. You must guess the correct answer, and you will be up for a drawing, which the winner will be picked from that drawing. You send your answer to mhhshow@gmail.com. That's mhhshow@gmail.com. And the question is, what NFL team's field goal kicker scored a touchdown against the Broncos? The question is, again, what NFL team's field goal kicker scored a touchdown against the Broncos?
And what year was that, Jared?
What year was that? I believe it was like around 2010. 2011. It was the worst. It was during that worst season that we had with Kyle Orton, and I think it was one of the And that's all I'm going to be giving it up to. So
okay,
that's enough clues.
Yeah, that's enough clues. So yeah, be sure to again, guys, if you get that right, you're going to be entered into a drawing. And then we'll draw the number on random.org, and we'll have it shipped out to you. So just send us your address. But again, send your answer to mhhshow@gmail.com for your answer to the question. So yeah, guys, is there anything else to talk about, Jared?
Yeah, I'm just going to describe what I got at some garage sales a few a few days ago. I ended up getting, this is like $10 worth of stuff. Got a T-shirt of the Denver Broncos from the AFC that says AFC Champions, Super Bowl logo on it, and has the roster, offense and defense of the Denver Broncos during that year of 1998. I got that for like, what was it, $2. Then I got a long sleeve shirt with the Broncos. It's almost like a long sleeve sweatshirt. Got that for $3 at a garage sale. It's nice logo with navy blue and orange stripes. And then my favorite one is an embroidered Denver Broncos. It's nice embroidered. It says Denver Broncos National Football League. Got that for $5 as a beautiful sweatshirt. And that is it. That's what I got at the garage sales. And anything else you want to say?
That's pretty much going to wrap it up from here, guys. Just thank you guys for tuning in. And if you guys got any questions or comments for me or Jared and you want to be on the show, just send us your request at mhhshow@gmail.com. If you want to be on the show, just send us an email. Just tell us why you want to be on the show, just what you want to talk about, and we'll go through all the requests. And if you want to be on it, just let us know, and then we'll see what we can do, and we'll see if we can get you on. But, yeah, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the first show. Again, questions and comments, mhhshow@gmail.com. We'll be back here again around draft time, maybe, so we'll have to see what happens. But, yeah, guys, thank you guys for tuning in.
Check out our Facebook group.
Facebook.com/groups/Mile High Horsemen, the best Denver Broncos group on Facebook, for damn sure, with over 5,000 members. But, guys, it's going to wrap it up from here. Mile High salute. All Broncos, Mile High Horsemen. We ride together, we die together, we never give up.
Never give up.
Good
Later.
night, everybody.